Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Jamie and today I'm going to finish setting up my new bullet journal for March 2017. If you haven't seen my last video, definitely check it out because that is when I do most of my new bullet journal setup, and in this one I will just be finishing and doing some decorations inside my journal. But the link to that will be in the little top right corner and also linked below. I'm writing this title with a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen, the big brush in black, $1.99, in case anyone is interested. I love it for writing titles. So we're starting in the middle of my setup for 365 Patterns Club, which is where you will do a pattern every single day for the entire year. I started this back in January when I found this really awesome Instagrammer, and I've been following her since, and she posts a pattern every single day, so I will have her linked below in case you'd like to follow along. I really like doing a pattern a day because then I have it as a reference in the future if I ever want to doodle or fill up any empty space. It's also really fun to see what she comes up with because she's amazing. If you're curious to see how I did all of the watercolor on all of these pages, I do have another video in which I did all of this watercolor and explained it a little bit, so definitely check that one out as well. Now back to the setup. So I did this all in pencil first and just counted out the grid with the little dots. This is my first time using a dotted notebook. I usually use just a sketchbook with no lines, or my first journal actually just had lined pages, so it's a little different. And I was writing with the Faber-Castell for the black squares and then a Uniball Signo gel pen in white for the white squares. I like how it looks with the white on blue, and I do plan on doing all of those patterns in white as well. I think it'll be a nice contrast. In addition to writing the patterns in my journal, I also have a large brown craft paper calendar that I transfer all of the patterns into so I can have one big reference, and I write all of them with the same white pen. So far I have 2 journals with this pattern in it, and I probably will have quite a few more throughout the year, and I want to have all of the patterns in one place. So I just put them all on a calendar, which I posted a picture of on Instagram. When I'm setting up my new journal, I like to flip back a few times and see if there's anything I'd like to add to, or if there's anything I don't like. I didn't like how plain this page was, so I went back and outlined the letters a little bit and added some decorations to it. Side note, I do realize that I spelled gratitude wrong, in case anyone noticed. I noticed it after I had posted the picture on Instagram, so I am aware. I thought about covering it up or putting in a sticker to cover up the word, or even just covering up the D and changing it to a T, but I don't like how it would look on the page. I still really like how the page looks, so I'm just gonna leave it for now. Maybe I'll change it in the future, but right now it's just gonna stay the same. So speaking of the future, on this page I am just going back with my Tombow, the smaller side, and darkening the wording on here. I used a marker that was dying a little bit, so I wanted to darken it up, and then I went back with my Uniball Signo and added a decorative motif that you'll notice is common throughout a lot of my lettering in the beginning here. Next week I'll be coming out with a video on kind of an intro to hand lettering, and then I will be going over letter decorations in the future, so watch out for those because those will be really fun, and I'll talk you through how to add some decorations to your letters to make them look a little more fun. So I chose the word focus as my word of the year. I could have put it in my last bullet journal, but I wasn't sure how I wanted to present it, so I waited until I had that in mind before putting it in here, and I'm just making concentric circles. I was trying to figure out how to decorate this page and then kept getting distracted and thought maybe I could hypnotize myself to focus, so that is why it looks like this. I ended up really liking the end result. I know the circles aren't perfect. I went in with a pencil and a compass and made perfect circles to start, but I do kind of like the organic nature of these circles, and I just wrote them with a Papermate Flare, which is one of my favorite pens for bullet journaling, or markers I should say. It's not waterproof, but I have watercolored these pages prior to doing this. The only thing I would have to worry about is if I do have water damage, but sometimes it looks really cool anyways, so I am not worrying about this pen or this page at all. One of the best pieces of advice I ever received was to follow the curve of your hand when you're drawing. So you can see when I'm drawing these circles, I am just starting and then following the curve of my hand and finishing them. After I'm done drawing all of the circles, I go back with my eraser and just erase a little bit. And then I go back to my key and add that same motif with the Uniball Signo gel pen. And then I decided that I liked having the entire word outline as opposed to just the shadows of the letters. So I went back with my Papermate flare and just outlined the rest of the word. That's something you can do if you are writing with a lighter color and you want to make it stand out a little bit more. Just use a darker border. Now I'm back the next day. The lighting is a little different because I'm filming this in the afternoon, so it gets dark for a minute, and I've already added some washi tape to these pages. Now I will be setting up my first bi-weekly spread of sorts. It's not a true bi-weekly because the 1st of March is on a Wednesday, so it's only like a week and a half in here, but that's okay. I'm going to be tracking the weather, so I'll just write down the high and low temperature of the day, and then also a little picture of if it's sunny or cloudy or partly cloudy or just things like that, so I can look back and see what the weather was like at that time. I try to use my bullet journal every day and keep track of the weather and things like that, but sometimes I can't because I'm working or I'm just too busy. So on those days, I will just take a screenshot of what the weather was from my weather app and then go back. And it says the day you took the screenshot, so if I have to go back and fill in a few days at once, that's fine with me. I'm not too worried about doing it on the day of. It's just really hard to go back in time and find out what the high and low of the day was. It's surprisingly hard. So I've found that just taking a screenshot will save me a lot of time and effort. And sometimes if I can't find it, I just won't fill it out. So that's not something to stress about. On this page, I'm also making a week overview, so if there's any big things happening on the first week or the second week of March, I will write them in there, like birthdays or anniversaries. I'll transfer them from either my monthly log or from my future log of previous month, and then I go back and just write a quote. I know that in pencil, I had the grammar of the word "you're" wrong, but don't worry, I read it correctly. I think it's nice to have an inspirational quote to get you through the next few weeks when you look back on this every day. And I'll just speed up the rest of this quote here. So I'm going to flip the page, and using my clip to hold them down, I'm adding some really awesome marble washi tape that I just got from Michael's. And then you can see my massive pile of washi tape. I keep it in an old cigar box and it's almost too full. I told myself I wasn't going to get any more tape, but then when I went to Hobby Lobby today, I found this really awesome tube of washi tape, and it had 2 white marble tapes in there, and I have been on the lookout for some nice marble washi tape for a while, so I thought, okay, this will be the last one. So if you see any more new washi tape, then you know I have a real problem. I wrote the word Wednesday with a Tombow dual brush pen, and then I went back and outlined it a little bit with a new pen I'm trying. It's called an Identa pen, and it also is dual tip, but it bleeds through, I discovered. So that is kind of a downside to it. These pages are super thin, so it might work on my moleskin, which I do plan on trying out, but I decided that I'm gonna use these really nice shipping labels that I got, and I'm just gonna cover up the bleed through for the most part because I want to be able to read what my weather icons are. I don't really worry about if my pens bleed through. If you are someone that wants to make sure none of your pens are bleeding through, I would definitely recommend making a pen test page, probably in the back of your journal, so that way you can see what pens bleed, if they're waterproof, if they go through the page, and how they interact with each other. That way you don't have to be surprised when you are writing in your journal. I don't really mind being surprised because I like seeing how things develop as they happen, but sometimes I do like to plan it out and see how things work together. Like, I knew that my Faber-Castells are waterproof, so I can watercolor on top of them, but I also want to mention that I did a pen test page in my previous bullet journal, so I know how most of these pens work together and if they're waterproof or not, but I haven't tested them out in this specific journal, so there are things I'm definitely going to learn, like which ones bleed through. Now I'm just going back through my journal and adding more watercolor. I'm just going through the rest of the pages of my journal and seeing if there's anything I want to add, any more washi tape or watercolor, and then seeing what I have in the future, and also erasing my pencil lines. On this page, I'm going to add the other marble washi tape and then my favorite ocean washi tape. Also in the pack with those marble washi tapes, there was this really cool copper foil tape, but I was struggling with it and then my camera cut out. But here is the finished product in better lighting. So I just have this page set up for my first daily, and then my bi-weekly spread, my 365 Patterns Club, my gratitude log, my coffee, water, sleep trackers, and currently for March, my March monthly, blank page, and my index, my future log, my word of the year, my key, and my year at a glance. So that is it for this setup. You'll definitely be seeing it in the future because I will be using it very soon. It's almost March. We only have a few more days left. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe because I would love to know what you thought, things you'd like to see in the future, or other things you'd like to say. I will be doing hand lettering videos, so get excited for those. Other than that, have a great day and thanks for watching.